Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
What is herpetology?
The study of snakes.
It's not about herpes?
No, just snakes.
Well, I guess I gotta change my appointment to a different doctor.
All this and more on this week's Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig. And this week, in case you didn't know, we're reviewing the movie Sssss. Not to be confused with S or Sssss. Those are prequels and sequels that we're not getting into. No. Yes, if you're going to look this up, there are exactly 7 S's.
Indeed, indeed.
But anyway, so here's the thing. This is our second week of we're going to do 4 movies that are horror movies that are inspired by some sort of phobia.
Yes.
Last week we did Fall for the fear of heights. This week we're doing the fear of snakes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie,
We didn't
basic
know what it was.
idea is that there's a crazy guy who is a snake doctor.
He's a genius scientist is what he is. But his pastime is believing that snakes are God's favorite creatures and that they are like the ultimate thing to be.
And that
Obviously,
they should be the next evolutionary something or other
Yes.
in man's history.
Well, see, in man's history, yeah, I guess.
History
But-
is still being written.
Sure. But basically, he thinks that that's what we should all want to be
Strive to
close
be?
Yeah.
I think.
He convinces a college student to take injections of a venom so that he could be protected from said venom is what he tells him. And this is going to be a big spoiler thing because we went into this not knowing what it is. If this seems like a movie that you would have any interest in, please watch it before you watch our review.
Definitely
because
do.
we're going to have to spoil it when we talk about our favorite and least favorite things. And I hate doing that, even though it's from 1973.
Because otherwise, there's not much topics to cover.
This was one of those. There was 4 movies in one set of DVDs, and you buy it for one, and then you
And
look.
now you have 3 free movies, basically.
Yeah, and eventually you're bored, and you're like, "Well, let's see what this is." Well, this is what this is. All I knew was that it was about snakes.
It completely revolves around the twist.
So yeah, watch it first. But if not, and you don't mind spoilers, then we warned you. What he's really doing is injecting him with a serum that will transform him into a snake man. And they do have a carnival with a half man, half snake at the carnival in this movie.
Which was a failed attempt.
Well, we find that out later.
Oh.
We had already seen it earlier in the film. But anyway, and it's just this guy basically getting told, Ghostbusters style, we're not going to help support your experiments anymore. We don't believe in it. We're not backing you up. And him going, okay, as he's got a college student in his basement turning very snakish.
Very snakish.
And that's basically the premise.
I mean, yeah.
And boy, I like not knowing what we're going in. I honestly thought, I don't know if you saw our review of Willard, I thought it was going to be that type of thing. This guy owns a bunch of snakes, trains them to do his bidding. I swear I thought that's what this movie was going to be.
25 minutes.
And there's even
sold
a
us on
scene
it.
where that kind of is what happens separately from the main story.
Separately.
Right. But why don't we throw it to commercial and show you the trailer so you know what we're talking about.
Once this motion picture sinks its fangs into you, you'll never be the same. Don't say it. Hiss it. Don't say it. Hiss it. Don't say it. Hiss it.
What the hell are you doing here? Get out! Get out! Get out!
Doctor, what is this? I feel like my guts are being rearranged.
Touch your skin. It's scaled. Look for your legs. They're gone. Feel your body. It's cold. And listen for the hissing.
I love you.
Your face.
What about it?
It looks different.
If he doesn't want to see you.
You're hiding something from me. I know it.
King Cobra versus Mongoose. Or is it man versus man? The most unusual horror film ever made. See it.
Well, all right. That was
Now you know you can buy it on Blu-ray.
So we need to get it in a higher
I do believe so.
quality. Anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about in this
just-
movie before we get to the behind the scenes and all that?
Not particularly.
This is a fun thing to go
It
view.
really, really is.
But before we get into the behind the scenes, we have to let you know why we're really here. See, what we're here for, most people mistakenly, even though I say this week after week, they think it's because we want to review horror movies. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like we love horror movies, but that's just an excuse to get paid to pimp out products.
Yeah.
You know, these giant corporations that everybody's heard of back up, you know, they cut those giant checks that you see on all those, you know, publisher clearinghouse ads and stuff. The giant foam checks, which, by the way, are a pain to try to get into your wallet. Anyway, this week, what we sold ourselves to promote was... Gory Storytime is brought to you by Fred's Fantastical Festival of Freaks, a real live, honest-to-goodness, old-school freak show. Come see people who are different from you and laugh at their differences. Come point and giggle at Stubbs, the man with no limbs. Mock the fat woman as she eats unhealthy food in large quantities. Feel better about yourself by ridiculing a woman with facial hair. All this and more at Fred's Fantastical Festival of Freaks. Lift your spirits by making others cry.
You know what? Sounds like my kind of thing. And by Hiss, the perfume that is made from real snake oil. Hiss not only has a scent that reminds you of a gentle breeze on a summer day, it also has many health properties to strengthen your mind, body, and soul. Just a dab behind each ear and he'll be mesmerized in no time. Hiss, the perfume with a venomous bite.
All right. Now, to the meat and beef of the show.
Indeed,
The
indeed.
behind-the-scenes information, as it were. Go ahead and start.
Me? Alright. All the venomous snakes featured were authentic, and the cast actually did have to interact with them for filming. Only in the shot where Strother Martin grabs the King Cobra's head during the show was a puppet snake used. Jeez.
For the scene where Dr. Stoner first injects David, Strother Martin actually makes a real puncture into Dirk Benedict's arm with the needle.
Good. So glad. The point is, poisonous snakes were not defanged during production. 5 king cobras were imported from Thailand for this feature, ranging from 10 to 15 feet in length. They had been recently caught in the wild and were in good health with full venom capabilities. The snake park milking scenes were real and meant to mimic what Bill Hast did at Serpentarium in Florida daily. About 1 ounce of venom was collected during each take, with no harm to the snakes. A different cobra was used for each take. The filming of this took most of a day, as the cobras spent most of their time trying to escape the fenced enclosure rather than raising up in traditional cobra attack mode.
So when you said cobras don't act, like they don't. They were just like, we're going to get out of here. And they're like, no, please, like, go. And they were like, or we're just going to try to bounce.
Right.
Like, because we don't.
We don't movies. Get us out of here.
The mongoose used in the movie was not a real mongoose. Instead, the animal used was a tyra, T-A-Y-R-A, tyra? I don't know. A member of the weasel family, native to tropical Central America and tropical South America.
Huh. The house used as Dr. Stoner's place is the same house used as the Garth Ranch house in The Virginian from '62.
During the skinny dipping scenes, the producers superimposed foliage over the footage to obscure the naughty bits of Heather Menzies Ulrich, whatever, and Dirk Benedict, most likely to keep the PG rating as opposed to going straight R.
Yeah. The cast was considerably nervous about interacting with the live snakes. Star Heather Menzies said she was able to steel her nerves to work with the scaly co-stars during filming and forgot her original apprehension. However, after the production wrapped, she said she reverted back to her original fear of snakes.
All right. This film was released by Universal as a double feature with a movie called The Boy Who Cried Werewolf, making the program one of the last double bills released by the studio. Now I want to find and watch that.
The Boy Who Cried Werewolf?
I do.
I've seen that.
I haven't.
Amongst the 100 snakes used were rattlesnakes, boa constrictors, pythons, king cobras, blue racers, hog-nosed snakes, and 2-headed Florida pine snakes.
I mean, there was a 2-headed snake. That was weird. Originally titled Snake, the distributors changed the title to the now famous Sssss to keep it more mysterious for the moviegoers.
The film's title in Spain was Silbido
de Muerte,
which translates to Hiss of Death in English.
This was the first Zanuck Brown production. I don't know what that means.
Film debut of Reb Brown.
The library was a real herpetological library.
The python used in the film was imported from Singapore.
Strother Martin plays a character named Carl Stoner. In Up in Smoke, Martin's character's name is Arnold Stoner.
At one point during development, Steven Spielberg was asked to direct, but he was turned down in favor of Bernard L. Kowalski.
Yes, because the smart move is to replace Steven Spielberg with someone else.
Wow.
Anyway, never mind. I'm not going to read the next one because it's the same one that you already read, so I'll skip it and go to 19. For his transformation into a snake, Dirk spent up to several hours in makeup, and in the final stages of transformation had to be carried onto the set in a stretcher.
A full body shot of Reb Brown showering just before his death scene was blurred at the studio's insistence so the film would maintain a PG rating.
All right. Well,
I mean, there's a website on the internet called Rotten Tomatoes.
there is. And Rotten Tomatoes gets a bad rap from film fans that are like, oh, this is a great movie. And then they look and it's like 60%. What makes them think this is a 6 out of 10? It's not how it works.
No.
Rotten Tomatoes doesn't rate movies. They take ratings of movies, positive and negative, and just put them all together and tell you the percentage that got positive reviews. The percentage of positive reviews. That's it. That's all it is. So when people say, oh, I hate what they said, they didn't said.
They just told you what was said.
They tell you what the consensus is. Take it up with the individual reviewers.
Yes.
Luckily, we're low enough on the totem pole, they don't count us.
No.
Because we have some opinions that they would find ridiculous, because we enjoy some really bad, great movies.
Oh, yeah.
But they're so bad, they're great. And most reviewers wouldn't give that leeway. They also have a section where the people can say, did you like it? Did you not? And then they give a percentage for the people. So the professionals say that this movie is a
30.
And
30%.
And that's higher, which is rare, than the people that have it at 26%.
Indeed.
26 out of 100 people liked this movie, meaning 74 out of 100 did not.
Bothers me.
Listen, that's not what I'm going to go with, but we'll get into that in a minute. First, what was your... Do you want to go favorite or least favorite first? Because we kind of alternate.
I guess least favorite first.
Okay.
I mean, probably the fact that, like, regardless of what the guy was doing, he thought that he had any say over what his daughter did behind closed doors. She's an adult.
Well, it was mainly because he knew that, like, he knew what he was doing to the guy
Right, and
she
unless
wanted
he was
to be
willing
with.
to tell her that,
Well, he wasn't.
then he had no say.
Okay, but if he knows that, it's probably going to be venomous, like, maybe don't.
Yeah, except, like, she didn't.
Sure, but anyway.
So it wasn't.
All right. I get it, though. Controlling dad of adult. That's an issue. My problem was this movie had two women that they just made blithering idiots. They were gullible and fell for any damn thing. The daughter of the doctor,
Yep.
when he was like, hey, don't be sleeping with my assistant, blah, 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 you can't. And then literally the next day, he's like, go out of town to go pick up this super rare snake that we've never had access to. It's gonna be there waiting for you. And then she gets there and it's not there, and she calls him and he's like, oh, wait longer.
Wait a little longer. It's going to be there in like a half hour. Don't worry. Just give me 20 more minutes. That's all I need.
And like she knew that he was up to something, or should have. It was obvious. And she was just like, I guess okay, if that's what daddy says. And the girlfriend of a football player character in this movie.
Yes.
Believed, he's going to have lower chi because it's my fault that this guy had, because spoiler alert, this guy has a heart attack, and she thinks it's because she rocked his world 3 times.
Because he said that he's only able to do it twice a night.
And what she didn't get was that he basically followed a woman home, broke into her house, and was trying to get some without permission. And she's like, the poor guy. This woman was throwing herself at him. And he had to, because that's his version, and she just fell for it. And it's like, really? Really? The woman who was like, I have
In
no
bed, and
interest?
he broke in?
Yeah. They made these two women seem very naive, and it, like, I'm not big on, looking for being woke, but like,
And he killed Harry.
This was overtly, like, disrespectful, and there was no need for it. Like, have one dumb character, because people can be dumb, but like the scientist's daughter being that gullible when she's also a scientist seems highly unlikely.
Right.
So that was my least favorite part, was they were just kind of representing women poorly in this film. My gosh, I sound like a feminist.
I've got my hands tied here
What's your
for quite a
favorite
few
thing?
things
Well,
that were great in
pick
this movie.
one.
All right, but I'm gonna go with it was shown a little bit in the trailer. There's a fight at a carnival or a circus or whatever. And like first of all, they're throwing this guy around like he's a balloon. He floats through the air like nothing is holding him back. And then he decides to jump onto the guy and bite him.
And not using his arms. He just, well, it showed it in the trailer. He was like on his neck. And it was the dumbest,
It was the
amazing
best.
thing ever. Like
That was just
it
perfection.
it was ridiculously awesome.
Like, it's a good thing they didn't have Spielberg because he wouldn't have been able to get that.
No, he would have, tried to make it like good. And this was better.
And this is better than good, okay?
It's so bad, it's better than good. All right. My favorite thing, boy, I'm going to say it's the part where it kind of did the Willard thing. This guy tried to break in and assault this woman, and then on his way out, grabbed their python and was like, "What's wrong with you? Why would you have this, you stupid snake freaks?" And grabbed the snake and snapped its neck.
And
Like, killed the poor snake. And I'm sitting there going, man, how dare you? First of all,
Like, you break into their place and then kill their pet on your way out? Like, what the heck?
yeah, like there are people that probably don't think you should have pets. There's groups that believe you shouldn't own animals. It's like, but if they break into your house and they're like, "What's wrong with you? You have a dog," and then shoot the dog, that's not cool. So this guy comes in and then he's like, "How dare you have a snake?" Snap. Snapped his neck. And like I said, that's,
And then
I mean, a snake is mostly neck, let's be honest.
it's not true.
I know.
Oh, we looked it up.
I said that jokingly, and he looked it up. He's like, "Actually, it's like one bone here."
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
It's weird because the rest of it is ribs.
I mean, it's hard to get him to wear a necklace because, it just, whole thing's neck.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so the revenge scene where the guy's in the shower and the guy breaks into
His house,
the house of the guy who broke in earlier at his place.
Dr. Stoner.
Dr. Stoner's house got broken into, so then Dr.
Takes
Stoner
his black
gets
mamba.
revenge and throws it on in with the guy while he's showering.
And then, mysteriously, seconds later, the guy died of a heart attack.
Yes, so that would be my favorite scene.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
It was a well-earned death.
Yeah. All right. So, on a scale
Lord,
from 1 to 10.
don't try to be funny. That's not your domain.
What would you rate this movie?
Me, honestly, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I would have gone higher because I enjoyed it more than that, but like, it's not quite over the top enough for me to give it a higher
Well, and
rating
we got
for
about
the bad.
50% of the way through, and you looking around, you're thinking, all right, there's no reason for me to believe this, but I think that
No,
this
no,
movie...
it wasn't even halfway in. Yeah. I literally guessed that he was going to turn into a snake when he first injected him, and was like, "This will help make it, build up a tolerance so that they can't poison
And
you."
over the 32 shots, or whatever it is, you'll
And
be
then-
completely immune.
When he goes to give him the second shot, his skin was peeling. I'm like, and he's turning into a snake. I said, I guarantee he's turning into a snake. This is an origin story for either a superhero or supervillain. And it damn near was that, except for the
He
ending,
turned
which
into
I'm
a
not.
snake.
Yeah, spoiler. He turns into a snake.
All
Not
the
a
way
snake
into a
man.
snake.
He shrinks into a snake-sized snake, thickness, length. He's just
He's
a
just
snake.
a cobra now.
Yeah.
If you think that's dumb, it's okay. It only lasts for the last 5 minutes or whatever of the movie.
But anyway, that's about all I have to say other than 6.5. What are you giving
I'm
it?
going to go a point above that and say a 7.5. It is a lot of fun.
It is fun.
It is ridiculous.
It's much ridiculousness.
There's like two people who are really acting. Like, really acting.
Like, well, actually. Considering
And
the
it's like-
script they had,
And the good acting seems bad
because
surrounded by the movie.
That's what a lot of people say about Henry Cavill and his Superman stuff. It's like, it's not his fault. He acted the hell out of it, you know?
It's just the hell out of it was bad.
But we're not going to discuss that movie. We were, if we ever decide to do a side project and review comic book movies and call it Talk Nerdy to Me, which, by the way, we've suggested, then we'll get to that. But anyway, yeah, so why don't we look over here to the side and we'll get on out of here.
Yes. So you can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1076 Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can also check us out on Facebook. And by us, I mean you can check out Gory Storytime and Fact TV. Fact TV live streams a lot of stuff.
Indeed. You can go to factdate.com and watch a bunch of back episodes of this, as well as a lot of their other entertainment. There's so much on this channel.
And you can even check out the YouTube channel for Fact TV and for Gory Storytime. I changed the official name. Look up Gory Storytime. That's the name of the channel. But It'll also show you Fact TV. So, like and subscribe to both. Why not?
Yes. You can...
And it's our Twitter's left, right?
Yeah.
I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
And I'm at Jiggly Firmbrain. I only tweet things that he says that I find funny, either in or out of context, usually out of context.
And that's about it. So next week we'll be back with our third phobia movie.
Yes, indeed. And until then, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig.
And sweet dreams.